We are recording. My name is Sean Michael Walker with Premier Group Insurance. And today we have an incredibly special guest. I am super excited to be talking to the... What does infamous mean? Famous? Does infamous mean famous?
I believe it means famous for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then we'll say, then that's perfect word. Okay, so the infamous Insurance Soup Boys. I always refer to you guys as the Insurance Soup Boys. Hope that's not offensive, but we got Michael McCormick here from Long Island, New York, and we got Taylor Dobbie here from the middle of nowhere, Texas, right?
That's right.
Where is it officially? Like Midlothian? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 25 miles south of Dallas.
And that's very close to Waxahachie?
Right next door. Actually, our old office was in Waxahachie.
So you would, if you were to go get a beer, would you leave Midlothian and go to Waxahachie to get a beer, or would you be like, nah, I'll stay here and just go to my own watering hole?
My own watering.
Okay, got it. All right.
You going to plug Dennis, or you going to leave him hanging?
Ellis County Barbecue, just saying.
What did you just say? Who? What?
I said Ellis County Barbecue.
Ellis County Barbecue.
All
right.
Little watering hole.
All right. Is it good barbecue, though?
It is good barbecue.
Like, my favorite barbecue in Texas is called Hard 8. Mm-hmm. Is it better than Hard 8? It can't be.
It's good barbecue.
Okay.
Heartache is an experience.
Okay. It does, absolutely. You walk in, there's smoke everywhere,
yeah.
And it is a very good experience.
Just a local barbecue restaurant. So.
Okay. Okay. So, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. We should start out with, who are you guys? Who is Michael McCormick? Who is Taylor Dobbie?
Yeah. I'll let you give the suit backstory, I guess.
No. I don't want to know who. I don't want the suit backstory. I want to know who you guys are. So, who is Taylor Dobbie? Who is Michael McCormick?
So, I guess go back. I got out of the Air Force in 2012.
Yeah.
Worked on planes because that's what I knew how to do. My back gave out again. Had a surgery, and sitting at the house, bored. I started to go to the agency. My wife was taking over her uncle's farmer's agency. Yeah. And go up, answer phones, and that's kind of how I got my introduction into insurance. Yeah. Fell in love with the sales process and, just really helping people. Yeah. And then it's evolved since then into what we do today, just kind of a natural progression, moving from one stage to the next. Yeah, so Taylor Dobbie you and your wife were supposed to take over Uncle's agency at some point. Is that right? And then things took a different path, right? I mean, you became a marketing genius, and everything changed, right? Yeah, we took over his agency. I became a farmer's agent. Okay. So we kind of had two agencies within one. Uh-huh. And then we had our daughter, and she came to the office with us for, I think, the first 6 months. Uh-huh. And my wife wanted to stay at home. Yeah. We had an offer on the agency. We just started, CAC, our marketing program. Yeah. And things were moving. Yeah. And that's when we sold the agency and went all in and really started to have fun and geek out on the marketing side. Yeah, cool. Very cool. So just a normal Texas guy. Born and raised Texas guy. Born and raised, same town. Yeah. Left right out of high school for the Air Force, and when I got out, came straight back. Yeah, very cool. So very cool. And all right, Mike, who are you?
I don't know. Who am I going to be today?
Who are you going to be today?
I'll be me. It's the role that I know how to play best. So, I am a Long Island guy through and through. Okay.
Born and raised Long Island guy.
Born and raised.
You went to like a private high school thing, right?
I did.
That's a big thing on the East Coast.
It's a
thing.
It's a thing. Yeah. I went to Chaminade High School, which is in Mineola, New York, which is a relatively prestigious all-boys Catholic high school. That's funny. None of the stereotypes that you go into a all-boy Catholic high school thinking are true. Okay. Or at least the ones that you're fed. Yeah. When you're 12, 13.
So on day one, they're not like carpe diem.
No. and when you're 12, 13 years old, and you got those preteen hormones starting to rage, and your parents are pushing you to go to an all-boys school, it's not really what you're most excited to do. Yeah, right. But I got to tell you, going to that all-boy high school with two all-girl high schools within 10 minutes of the school wasn't that bad.
It still worked out.
Wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it still worked out.
Yeah, they liked us.
All right, cool.
Yeah. But
was that close to home? Like, did you go sleep at that high school and stuff?
It was a 40-minute bus ride every day.
Oh wow!
So every day, 40 minutes there and back, and I was very involved with athletics back then too. So I was late bus every day.
Yeah.
Didn't get home till 7:30, 7:45 most nights.
Yeah.
But entirely worth it.
Yeah.
Still have a fantastic network of friends from the school and all that kind of stuff. Also led me to going to Villanova. Right outside of Philadelphia, which was a fantastic experience, both from like an education and from like a party, party element.
From an education and party.
And from there, I went on to initially mortgages when I first came out of college.
Yeah.
Did fairly well in mortgages, managed the mortgages for a little bit, and then when the financial crisis hit back in 2008, and I started to see the writing on the wall, my girlfriend, now wife, was kind of in my ear as well, saying like, get out before this entire thing comes crashing down.
Right.
And I went into retail banking, which financially was a tremendous step back, but felt very safe and stable, and at the very least familiar.
Yeah.
And I managed in the retail banks for a couple of years, and then I got recruited out of Chase Bank into Citibank to help them start a premier private banking program called Citigold, and I moved for the money.
Yeah.
Being completely honest, I moved because it was a substantial amount of more pay.
Yeah.
And I learned one of the biggest lessons of my life making that move. And that's money isn't everything.
Yeah, right.
I moved to what I thought was going to be a similar type of role in a similar organization, and couldn't have been further from the truth. I mean, to the point where I was actually number one in the company in terms of growing the asset base for the second quarter of, I don't even remember what year it was, but anyway. What our responsibility was to accumulate assets for the bank, and we worked with high net worth people.
Yeah.
And so I started to strategize, and we have a hedge fund in my town, which is very odd. Most of the hedge funds in New York are in New York City, down in the financial district, but we've got a very big hedge fund in my hometown in Stony Brook, and I started doing some research on the execs there, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start reaching out to these guys, see if they're interested in working with me, and I wound up reeling in six of their the big wigs over at this hedge fund, and they bonused out like 3 weeks after I brought them into my program, and like everybody else is like growing their balances by like 5 to 7 million a quarter, and I popped for like 70 million, and it was just like over the top ridiculous, and it set the bar so high for myself that the management at that point looked at me like I was the cleanup hitter of the program and whatnot, and eventually I wound up having a boss that straight up gave me agita, like when I would pull into the office. Right. And I would see his car there.
Yeah.
He didn't work there, but like he would do his surprise visits and whatnot.
Sure.
Like I would literally get the dry heaves in the parking lot, and I said, "This is obviously not
a good place to be.
This isn't where I need to be with my career." Yeah. And so I started putting myself out there a little bit, and I started. And I was already life and health licensed at that point. I was already doing some investments with with some of my clients and all that kind of stuff. I had been licensed since I want to say 2007.
Yeah.
I want to say is when I first got licensed. And so I started putting my resume out there, and literally everyone I heard from was insurance companies, and everyone wanted me to come and smile and dial. And I, for better or for worse, I'm not knocking anyone that does it, but I just didn't really see myself at that stage of my career as a smile and dial guy. And so I turned down pretty much every opportunity that was coming my way, and eventually one of the captives knocked on my door and offered me an opportunity to interview for my own agency.
Right.
And that felt way, way more in line with my wheelhouse, with my management experience, with the products and services that I'd already been selling, and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how I kind of transitioned from banking and investments over into the actual insurance industry. And from there, we've.
So that was you were a State Farm guy, right?
Yeah. Back in from 14 to 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Picture of yourself on a billboard.
Yeah.
On a random freeway in the middle of nowhere.
A $3,000 investment that got me absolutely zero phone calls.
6 people saw.
That's well, no, it was a fairly traveled road.
It was just well hidden.
It was like
it was a very well traveled road. The billboard just sat behind 6 big trees.
That's exactly what it was. So you know, we had I had the billboard for 90 days.
Okay.
I think it was 3,500 for the honor. And you know, it was a picture of me, and like if I'm choosing a picture to represent my agency, it's not my face. So let's find someone prettier than me.
Yeah, right.
But it was a picture.
Everybody
of me.
watching the YouTube video right now is like, yeah, that's probably a good tactic. Yeah. Don't use the face. That's right.
Anyway,
while he's making air kisses
for those of you who are just listening right now, I'm blowing kisses at the camera.
He's making air kisses at the camera.
But yeah, you know, I don't want to go down that path. It wasn't the experience that I was expecting or promised, and you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, I was only allowed to write 3 homeowners a month, and I came to them saying like, I got this whole mortgage background. I got all these loan officers looking to refer business to me. They didn't tell me that until after I opened.
Yeah. So let me hear the story about how you two meet. You guys. I mean, how does a Texas guy meet a Long Island guy, and how do they get along together? That's not supposed to happen, right?
No.
It's not?
I don't know. Is it?
As a New Yorker, I love everybody. So
he does love the accent.
I do.
Which is funny because you've got one. I'd never ever hear your New York accent ever.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know that I've ever really had a strong one.
Yeah, that's weird. So how did you guys meet?
We met on Facebook in a marketing group back in 2014, and I'm competitive by nature, and Mike's competitive by nature. So as we started to go through and really, you know, our eyes were open to the, you know, really the platform, how you could advertise all the different demographics. We started to kind of challenge each other and see who could generate leads, you know, the cheapest, and who.
So you're both trying to generate leads for your captive agencies,
for our agencies,
and you're trying to learn as much as you possibly can to generate as much business as you possibly can for your captive agency.
Exactly. Okay. We didn't want to continue to pay the vendors. We wanted to control, you know, our lead flow and have more of a say-so with the demographics that, you know, we were calling.
Yep.
And, you know, we started reaching out, and it got to where, you know, we were staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, sharing ideas and what we were doing, and developing new strategies. And that's kind of, it just escalated from there.
So I hate to cut you off. How many people on Soup? So there's 38,000 people on Soup roughly. How many of those 38,000 people on Soup have heard this story before? I mean, how many of the people who interact with you are going, yeah, I know how they met and their story and who they were and their backstory and all this kind of stuff? Or do you think they're going to hear or see this video for the first time and go, I had no idea this is who these guys were?
I'd say majority haven't heard the story.
Okay.
We've shared it, but, you know, in Soup, so many posts a day.
Yeah, right. That stuff gets buried real quick.
It gets buried quick. So a lot have heard it, but definitely a majority haven't.
Okay.
I'm sure.
And you know, there's another, you know, interesting dynamic to owning a Facebook group, and we've talked about this before. You know, at the end of the day, you feel sometimes like you're being a little bit repetitive when you're talking about the same stuff over and over and over again. But with the audience constantly growing and constantly turning over to a degree, and
as quickly as the message gets dropped,
exactly.
You know, we've had conversations around, you know, we need to tell the stories and teach the same things and talk about the same things over and over and over again, and we just don't do a good enough job of it. But I'd say probably less than half know the origin
It's
story.
funny that you say that, because I wrote a blog a long time ago about how I always used, and it was a blog about social media, and it was all about how I used to go to Sonic Burger during happy hour from 2 to 4, and I would always go with the intention of just getting a Route 44 Diet Coke with limes in it, and then the story is they would always try to cross-sell me on something else, right? And then the whole blog is all about, look, if you just try and cross-sell every single time, it works, you know, 40% of the time, because of my daily interaction with Sonic, somebody would try and cross-sell me every single time. I knew all I wanted was my Diet Coke, but I was driving away with a Diet Coke and a corn dog, or I was driving away with a Diet Coke and a cheese stick or whatever, and I'm going, dang it, I didn't even want that.
It's the Sex Panther cologne close.
Exactly.
60% of the time it works all the time.
Exactly. But my point is like, I've told people that, and I've recycled that message over and over and over, and I feel like somebody at some point is going to go, man, Sean, you really recycle that message over and over and over. One, it's an important message, but two, the audience changes all the time. You know, I interact with thousands and thousands and thousands of agents. Yep. You guys interact with tens and tens and tens of thousands of agents, but they're not all hearing the Sonic story from your mouth over and over and over, or the billboard story, right? The billboard story. Like you tell the billboard story, but it's okay to tell the billboard story once every 8 months, because people 8 months ago didn't hear it.
It's just frustrating because we feel like the 40,000 in soup should be paying attention to everything that we're doing every minute of every day. It's funny,
And most of them are like, I don't have time to pay attention to these guys.
Well,
there's just so much that goes on.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, right.
That's a good thing. That means you're growing your business.
Right.
Like we're here to help the ones that are looking for help. If you don't need us, that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think what a lot of the audience doesn't realize is when Mike and we put out content or a post, like we don't write to try to help everyone or to help mass. If we can help one person, and that leaves a big impact on one person from that post,
and they're going, man, I got something out of that.
Then that's a win, and that's what when we write, we're writing to try to help that one person, not to entertain and make everyone happy.
So I cut you off. So let's keep hearing the story about how this came together. We were in the middle of that story, weren't we?
Yeah,
I think that we were. So I cut it off. Sorry. Let's keep going on that story.
So we kept kind of challenging each other, and that just pushed us to be better and better.
Our first 6 to 8 months knowing each other, we were up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, on the computer with each other, probably 3-4 nights a week.
Oh, at least, and it just from there we started Insurance Soup in 2015, and when we started Insurance Soup, Mike coming from the State Farm side, me having the farmers background, I was doing things that Mike wasn't aware of, and he was doing things I wasn't. So Soup was created to bring all those agents together that could share, that didn't have that Kool-Aid culture, that wasn't, the narrative wasn't being directed by the carrier. It was just kind of a
open conversation,
water cooler environment where agents could just come together.
We can talk. We can have real conversation. Exactly. We can say, "This is my problem. This platform sucks. How do you guys get around it?" For my underwriter's killing me, or whatever. Right?
For better or for worse, all the major carriers have their vendor favorites. Their preferred vendors, their recommended vendors, or whatever, and they're all pushing their agent traffic towards those vendors. And the reality is there's not a single fix-all vendor in this industry.
I've never seen one.
Like whether you're talking about a lead provider, a management system, an automation tool, whatever the case is, there's levels to it. And there's also different areas of the country that perform differently than others when you're talking about lead vendors in particular. So all those conversations that were taking place in very Kool-Aid culture insulated environments, kept agents playing a little bit smaller in my opinion, because there are tools that farmers agents were using that I was like, why don't I know about this? Why doesn't the entire agency force know about this? And there was stuff that I was using that that same thing. And it wasn't just to bring transparency around like ideas and strategies. It was also a lot of keeping what am I trying, like how am I trying to say this?
Staying on top of,
not being like the Papa Bear of the industry, but like kind of like doing our best to make the agents aware of stuff going on in the industry that should be on their radar that probably isn't.
I see.
Because call a spade a spade. There is a lot of big over the top selling to an agent to bring them on board to a carrier.
Sure.
There are a lot of big promises. Prime example. When I had started my journey. I was told that I'd be able to do everything under the sun, and the day after I opened, I was told I was allowed to write 3 homeowners a month because they were trying to protect their their market share in
Long Island
on the heels of Hurricane Irene and Superstorm Sandy.
Yeah,
Superstorm Sandy.
Yeah, say that 15 times.
Say that again.
Yeah. But upon realizing that a lot of overpromising and under delivering from certain areas of the industry,
or maybe is it that, or is it just like misunderstanding? Right? Like, so Long Island was going through a hard market at that moment in time because they just got pounded by Superstorm Sandy. You guys say Superstorm Sandy. So was it A shell game? No, I doubt it was a shell game. It was just, hey, sorry, we didn't let you know. You didn't know what a hard market was, and we didn't feel inclined to tell you what a hard market was. 6 months of training. Or something like that.
6 months of training and 2 months of live training in an agency on Long Island, and it was never brought up to me.
Okay, well then that's a problem, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So you guys are getting together. You guys are challenging each other. You guys are saying, I'm better than you. And you guys are having these conversations late at night. Are your wives getting jealous of your relationship you guys are forming with each other?
She was definitely curious.
Mine was relieved. She was like, someone else can take this energy for a little bit.
What? There's a guy down in Texas taking your time and energy? Wonderful. Yeah. All right, cool. So the natural outcome of your interactions, you guys still haven't met yet, and then you guys meet down in this little convention thing that you were supposed to go to, where you're supposed to like learn in class stuff?
So actually Brian Blair, he's a farmer's agent.
Okay. I don't like that guy, by the way. That guy, he hides behind that beard. He does. He hides.
It's a beautiful
beard. He hides. It is a gorgeous beard, but he hides behind it.
You know,
and his motorcycle, and his big muscles.
He wouldn't even
and his beautiful
have that
family.
Beard. He wouldn't even have that beard if it wasn't for us. So
yeah, shish, that Brian Blair.
We gave him crap for a solid 2 or 3 years about his baby face, and
then he outgrew us, and it's
so whatever. It's not the size; it's how you wear it.
It's probably how you wear it. Yeah. He does wear it very, very well, though. And just so everybody listening, I thought I was mad at Taylor Dobbie for years and years and years, and it turns out no. I thought I was mad at Brian Blair for years and years and years and years. When in reality, I was mad at you.
Yeah, I let him take the.
And in reality, I wasn't mad at anybody. I don't get worked up for anything, and so I wasn't mad at anybody. But there was some confusion there between the two of you guys.
Oh, I knew it the whole time, and I let Brian take the heat.
Okay.
So Brian and I started CAC, the marketing side, because Mike was still attached to State Farm, and they just simply wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
Wanted Mike to be a part of it. I mean, we had many, many conversations. He wanted to be a part, but because of where he was, he couldn't. So we launched CAC, started Insurance Soup, and then once Mike left State Farm, it was just, natural for him to come on board.
Yeah.
Marketing, the way that he views marketing and can see it and relate it to the insurance industry is incredible. So that's when CAC really started to take off, and we were all in, helping agents. We were doing live classes, every 6 weeks, and then it turned.
And was CAC always a part of Soup? Was Soup always a part of CAC? Like, were the two synonymous with each other?
No, so we had CAC when we started.
Separate of Soup?
Yeah, separate.
Or was Soup even in existence yet?
No, we started CAC before Soup.
Okay.
But when we created Soup, we didn't push CAC. We didn't push anything in there. It was just an environment that we wanted agents to feel safe and add value.
Okay, so how did people find CAC back then? I mean, they find CAC now by people talking about it on Soup, but
we ran Facebook ads, and we would take individual sales calls, and we would call the agent, spend an hour and a half with them, figure out where they were struggling in their agency and what we could do to help, and that's how we filled the classes. And it got to where we had more people that wanted to join than the class would hold, so we started kind of doubling up on classes, and then went to large groups, and then it's ultimately turned into the platform now, to where you can learn at your own pace, and we've got live trainings.
Although the platform's evolving even more now, right? So I guess we can get into that later, but
the next version's gonna make the last 5 years seem like child's play. So it's gonna be neat.
Okay. So how does Soup then come from CAC? Then I guess Soup is born out of CAC.
No, it was two completely separate. When we created Soup, we never did it with the intent to monetize, to do anything other than just create that environment for agents.
It was honestly a selfish play. Like we were looking at, like, if we can get everyone from all the carriers and from everywhere in the country into one room talking about insurance, we're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it was more of a selfish play initially.
Yeah.
And while CAC was always in the background, it was a conscious decision to not bring a product to the group at the gates.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't even with the long-term strategy of eventually introducing CAC. What ultimately wound up happening is, inevitably, just in the natural course of conversation in the Facebook groups and whatnot, it kind of became known that Taylor and I were doing some cool and special stuff with regards to the social media advertising and all that kind of stuff. And people just started asking, and at that point we just decided, let's monetize the group a little bit. Yeah. And from that point forward, every like 6 to 9 months, we put our ear to the ground in the group. We, start to try and take put our finger on the pulse of what, the bigger problems that agents are facing is, and, try and start creating or finding the best solution for that problem. One of the things that we've learned too over the last number of years is that there's a lot of really interesting vendors and technology and, solutions out there that simply don't get any real face time.
Right.
It's one thing to create a fantastic product. It's another thing to know how to sell it and get it out to the world.
Sure.
And there are very, very intelligent and brilliant people who've come up with some fantastic solutions for the industry that
nobody knows about.
Yeah. They just don't get it in front of the eyes of the industry.
So
very cool.
I mean, when we first started Soup, it's slowed down at this point, but when we first started Soup, we were hearing from once Soup got to around the 10,000 member mark, we were hearing from vendors from around the industry like once or twice a week.
Yeah.
What kind of deal can we strike with you? What kind of affiliate deal can we run with you? What kind of how can we partner together? We have turned down so many.
Yeah.
Like if we don't honestly feel that the solution is the best for the lion's share of the industry, we've got no interest in bringing it. Like, I don't need to make $5-10 off of, a random agent signing up for a random service.
Right.
We want to make sure that we are guiding and teaching and leading the agents towards stuff that's going to help improve their agency.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone could start a Facebook group, get a bunch of insurance agents in a room, and get all the vendors to get behind them and start, letting the industry know that all of them are awesome. They're not all awesome.
Right.
No, a lot of them are absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
So how do you guys go through that process of? I mean, that alone has got to be a ton of time and energy to go. Okay, a vendor contacted us. They want to tell us how cool their product is. We'll get on a 45-minute phone call with them and hear about the product. I mean, how do you guys go through the process of not wasting your time or not wasting their time?
Most of them we didn't even entertain.
Yeah. I mean, we look at it in kind of two questions. Is it blue ocean? Is it the first of its kind? If there's anything out there, is it the absolute best?
Yeah.
And if it's not those, then we don't have interest. We don't want to bring something to the market that's just like something else, or just another version that's years behind. We want to bring the absolute best to the agents.
Yeah.
And sometimes we've walked away from deals that we could have made an incredible amount of money from.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. It's like I think about back nine, right? So I remember when I was looking at life and annuities and all these different platforms. I remember calling somebody and going, I've got it boiled down to these different things, but I really like this platform at back nine. And whoever I was talking to was like, look, from a technological perspective, nothing beats that. So if that's what you're looking for, go that route. And it was like, okay, well, that's what I'm looking for. So, so it's a perfect example of what you're talking about, I think. But, all right. So what's the funniest, rowdiest, craziest thing that's happened on the group where you're like, I can't believe that just happened?
Well, I mean, literally while we've been here, just the other day, literally 48 hours ago.
Yeah.
A woman in Soup.
I remember. I saw this. Although
is this gonna get edited out?
This might get edited out.
Well,
this very well could get edited out because I know where you're going already.
I will.
So go with a different story.
I'm not going to happen in the last 48 hours. I'm going to give your editor some work, and I'm going to give you something to think about because you're going to think about keeping this in.
Okay.
So the other day
there was scribbling though. I know there was scribbling.
There was scribbling. Yeah. There was a woman that
posted something that required scribbling. Let's leave it like that. How about that?
Are you trying to keep this PG?
I am trying to keep this in a place where we can post this without too much editing work.
Inappropriate picture that she should not have received.
Right, and it was scribbled. She posted it on Soup and had scribbled it out.
Yeah.
She had sent an email out to a prospect, and the prospect
responded. So far, we're good.
And the prospect responded, since you sent me this spam email that I didn't want. I'm going to
send you this.
Here's a picture of something scribbled.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That you
an
probably
offensive
don't want.
thing that has to be scribbled out.
Yeah. But I mean, we've had that.
That's crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
That's not the first time. We've had members of the group send inappropriate stuff to other members of the group.
That's crazy too. I can't believe that.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
There's a lot that's gone on in suit.
Yeah, so how do you guys keep that all on the rails, or do you even try to keep that on the rails? I mean, obviously you delete stuff that should be deleted and go, hey, that just crossed the PG-13 threshold to R. We should delete that off.
Nah, R's fine.
Yeah, I know. I know R's fine in suit, but there are things that you do have to say. We all went a little too far on that one. It's got to be deleted.
Yeah, so we're lucky in that very, very early on when we first started the group, before we monetized the group, we, for better or for worse, had a very cutthroat culture where if you were making waves, if you were causing problems, if you were talking poorly to another agent or whatever, we just threw you out.
Yeah, right.
And we used to do it in a very fun way. We did it in a way where we would kind of publicly have fun with it.
Sure.
And
the executioner.
The executioner. Yep. We would lob people's heads off as we tossed them out of the group.
Use a cartoon picture of an executioner. Got it.
Yep. And we made it very, very clear, very, very early on what we were willing to tolerate and not tolerate in our environment. And knock on wood, at this point, the group really self-polices itself.
Yeah.
And as funny as it is, they are a bloodthirsty group of insurance agents
that want to see somebody get kicked out.
Who love to see someone trip up and get tossed.
Like if a post goes against the rules, and we've got very
somebody
simple
tags
rules.
you guys really quick, and
we've got very simple rules in the group.
Anytime I see Michael Jackson eating popcorn, I'm like, I'm missing something. Somebody did something.
Yeah. So,
which is hilarious because now I see Michael Jackson eating popcorn. It's like immediately like Pavlov's dog, or like, oh, something's happening. I start salivating.
But now sometimes it'll be like 10 o'clock and we'll get tagged in a post and we'll let it run. And in 30 minutes it'll have 350 comments, and the group eats it up and they have fun with it. And, but it's like Mike said, it kind of self-polices itself.
Yeah.
But we've always ruled it kind of with an iron fist as well.
Yeah.
If it's going to create problems for the group, then we remove the person. It's never anything personal. It's just we've stayed consistent with the rules since day one.
Yeah.
And it's grown. To
the point where I think you had to kick me out, too.
According
to you, you kicked me out. According to me, I left. But at some point,
either way,
I guess I was making too much waves.
Yeah.
So that's my question. So, like, when did Soup change from, like, a fraternity group of, like, captive guys that wanted to have a captive guy conversation into like this turned into way more than just a captive group of agents chatting about their captive environment. It turned into a bunch of independent insurance agents. When did it change gears from what it was way early on into what it is today?
Well, it was never a captive group.
I know it wasn't.
That was just our circle.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's funny because like thinking back, like CAC, when Brian and I started it, we were both farmers.
Yeah.
The University of Farmers, we would do presentations for them. They would refer clients to CAC.
Yeah.
So it was very heavy farmers, and that's all we worked with in the beginning.
The name Career Agent Concepts is born out of a farmer's
career agent. Becoming a career agent with farmers. Okay. So that's where the name came from, and we've just stuck with it. But we would actually turn agents down that weren't farmers agents in the beginning. Mm-hmm. That's how small we were thinking. Yeah. And then we opened it up to where we'd work with, other captives. Yeah. And then we started working with other independents. Yeah. And we're like, wow, the independents are having far more success than the captive agents because they've got more options and they close at a higher rate. Yeah. So we started opening up the group and trying to let more in and encourage members to invite members. Mm-hmm. And that's when it really started to take off, when we kind of quit focusing and thinking small. Yeah. And the group, I remember I had it written on my whiteboard in my office, and it was 5,471 members. And
how long ago was
February of 2017. Wow. Yeah. February 2017, I wrote it on my whiteboard.
And 4 years later, you're at 38,000.
Yeah. Wow. And we've removed or blocked more members than the next largest group compared to insurance. Yeah. So it could be much larger, but because of the way that we're very consistent with the rules. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, when did you guys go, holy crap, this has officially changed from something small to something with an incredible amount of momentum. When did you guys look at each other on a Zoom call from New York to Texas and be like, Taylor, I think this is going to get humongous? Well, when did you guys go? The whole it's officially shifted into a new gear, and it's shifted into a gear that now it's self-perpetuating, or it's
really clicked with me when carriers started recognizing us.
Yeah.
And would recommend.
I think you're right.
And when the high ups at captive carriers and independent carriers start talking about it, mentioning it. Mm-hmm. Even advising their agents to go join. Mm-hmm. That's when it clicked. Like, all right, this is bigger than what we thought it was.
Yeah. Like we ask agents as they're entering soup where they heard about us.
Yeah.
And when you see like Safeco Bricks and Clicks, and you see Farmers University, and you
talking about you guys,
and it's like, we didn't even talk to anyone over at Safeco Bricks and Clicks.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say. Early 2017, like summer of 2017 was when we realized like
we couldn't stop this now if we wanted to.
Oh yeah. That's when things really started to take off, and that's when we started actually trying to grow the group. Because up till then it was just all organic.
Mm-hmm. And you had just jokingly made mention of ripping off the shirt and I'm an insurance god.
Yeah, being a chiseled insurance god.
Well, I mean, since we're obviously lying here, no. But I personally don't view myself as an insurance god.
Yeah.
I view myself personally as someone who really likes and understands and wants to help agents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you throw me in a coverage conversation with someone who's literally in the trenches all day. They're gonna run circles around me.
Sure.
But I can make your phone ring. Mm-hmm. I can teach you how to close some stuff better. Mm-hmm. I can help you improve your systems and processes. Yeah. Like I can help you on the business side of your agency.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the one in the trenches telling you what coverage you should be recommending, what limits you should be recommending. And I mean, if you notice in soup, I stay out of those conversations by and large.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same here.
So
yeah. All right. So let's talk about the brands. So if you want, I think it'd be important though. So what are the brands that insurance are related or tied to Insurance Soup? Can we talk about that?
Yeah. We'll cover them real quick. We've got, of course, CAC, the marketing side.
Yeah.
Agency Elephant.
Mm-hmm.
That's your text, email, ringless voicemail, dialer, calendar, forms, really all in one automation tool.
Is that one the newest?
No.
Okay.
Not the newest.
No, Yellow Brick Road is the newest.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Agency Elephant's almost 2 years in.
Okay.
3 years.
3 years in. Man, time goes quick. But yeah, it's helped a ton of agents. A lot of fun.
And that's Brian Blair's baby? I mean, he's the one heading up that part of things?
Yeah, he runs the day-to-day for the most part.
Him and Matt Hahn.
Yeah. And, I mean, they're an incredible team.
Brian Blair. I'm gonna every time I say his name, I'm just gonna swear it out of my mouth for no good reason either.
Then we've got TalkoBot, which is a chat bot designed to take a prospect down the path. Whether you're clicking on a Facebook ad and it automatically takes them into the chat bot.
Yeah.
That's CJ Hudson Pillar. I mean, marketing genius when it comes to how he can get softwares.
What kind of last name is Hudson Pillar? I always see his name CJ, and then I see the H.
I'm going to say German, but I don't know.
And then after the H, I'm like, I don't have enough mental energy to go through the whole name.
We will get that answer before the podcast
Okay,
is
before
over.
the end of the podcast, let's find out the history of that name. But so that's TalkoBot?
TalkoBot.
Okay.
And the way that he's able to get softwares to communicate, to be able to take a picture of a license plate and it spit out a quote, not long after. He's just a genius when it comes to that.
Okay.
You got Back 9, life insurance technology, super slick platform. Takes the consumer, gives them the ability to go all the way through the process to the sale, schedule, paramed, all that.
Yeah.
We partner with WebCE.
Yeah.
And instead of taking a 15% revenue share, we apply that to a discount at the end. So we don't make anything on that. Yeah. But it allows, it helps agents a little bit.
Yeah.
15% is not a lot, but
something.
A little bit, you know. Yellow Brick Road. Sell scripting. So it takes you down the path of the sell.
Yeah.
You ask a question, no matter the objection, It's on the screen. So
you just click the objection you got.
And then it takes you to
I
the
have
next.
to talk to my wife. You click on that objection and
exactly.
then
And
it tells you to say this.
how to overcome it and get you back to the path of the sale. That way you're having the same conversation that's consistent every single time, cross-selling every single time. Has a lot of data tracking so that you can track your producers, how far into the conversations they are, where they're losing the sale, where they're really,
creates a lot of accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe where they stop following the script too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're able to see a lot by looking at the numbers on the back end. And you can also realize that your top producer, isn't the best at closing. They're just making more calls.
Yeah.
While you have someone else that's making a fraction of the calls.
Yeah.
That's almost closing the same amount of business. So it gives you an idea of where they need improvement, where they're strong. Really neat there. So, and then CIA. We help agents open independent agencies across the country.
Yeah, we're going to get on that topic probably in a lot of detail in a second here. But let me ask just one other funny question. Subcultures that exist within insurance soup. Tacos, pineapple. How did these things even come about?
Well, the executioner was really like the first
Subculture
cultural
thing,
element that became part of soup. The two other big ones, are probably tacos and the pineapple on pizza debate.
Yeah.
The pineapple on pizza debate, I'm not entirely sure how that started in soup. I want to say that.
Did you eat a piece of pizza yesterday with pineapple on it?
So
Did I see that or did I hear that?
this is going to be a reveal.
This is going to be important to say because
I had 2 slices.
This is going to be.
I thought I saw somebody said you ate a piece of pizza with pineapple. I didn't see it with my own eyes,
So
but I heard that happened. I do know there was one in the room.
So in insurance soup, the topic of pineapple on pizza somehow became a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I believe it probably started with one of our members in there, John Adonisio, who's...
Is that how you pronounce his name?
That's how I pronounce his last name. I don't know if it's right.
I love John, but I'm always like, John.
John Alamanapio.
Yeah.
He's going to listen to this later and be like, I don't like that guy anymore.
I will kill him.
But I believe he was the originator of that conversation, of that debate in there and whatnot.
I didn't realize he'd been in there that long.
Yeah, and I got behind it as a New Yorker, and I like to play into it because I know it's something that the audience really likes or whatever.
Yeah. And you're a New Yorker, you should actually be passionate about it. But.
Well, my personal hot take on it is the reason that the majority of the country likes pineapple on their pizza is because you're eating absolute crap pizza, and the fruit masks the poor quality.
Okay, there's some valid something
Can't
there.
argue that.
But the opinion that I put out in soup around me being staunchly against pineapples on pizza or whatever,
accurate.
I'm just messing with the crowd. I'm messing with the audience. I don't have a very strong opinion on it, and I did eat a slice of Hawaiian pizza yesterday.
All right, you heard it here. That's crazy.
But
that's the only bomb that has to be dropped on this. This thingy.
But
this podcast. But
we're in Colorado, and that's why I ate it, because you guys don't have good pizza.
All right, next time you guys come to Colorado, we will do a place called Bojo's Pizza. We will drive 30 minutes into the mountains, so you'll get some mountain stuff.
Sounds like authentic Italian Bojo.
Yeah, exactly. The crust is literally this thick.
Oh, that sounds like pizza too.
And we call it like mountain pizza, and it's amazing. And we'll do it without pineapple, but that way you'll get some mountain time and some, all the Colorado stuff.
Well, I want to see that cliff you were telling us about.
That's cool too. We could actually do that today. Like that could happen today. Yeah, that's 10 minutes away, so we can do that later. All right, cool. So CIA. How do we want to jump into this topic of CIA? Head
first.
Okay, let's go head first. But let's say, so the group, Soup always, you already said this, but Soup, you guys start out with agents in this environment. What is the problem? What is your problem? What is the biggest thing that we could resolve for you, right? That's why Soup exists, or that's what you guys are doing behind the scenes, trying to say, what is the problem and how can we fix it, right?
Exactly.
So let's start there. You guys hear from soup agents at some point in time. Let's call it at when you guys are at 20,000 agents in soup as opposed to the 38 that you're at today. And the 20,000 agents help you understand that there's a clear thing that needs to be resolved. I'll let you take it from there.
So, like we said, we always keep our ear to the ground and listen. And we kept noticing, agents would post that they were leaving their captive or they wanted to start an independent, but they didn't know, who to go with. They wanted support, but, they wanted training and they wanted the carriers, but they weren't finding the, the right fit that really brought everything full circle. So Mike and I, as ignorant as we were like, well, hell, we'll just create our own.
Yeah.
Can't be that hard.
Boom, aggregator.
Yeah.
That's us now.
That's interesting. That's funny.
So we actually found a gentleman found us when we put the idea out there, and he had a $10 million book of business.
Which is also funny to me. Like when I hear the story, it's really funny to me. Because I just want to say, I think a lot of people get to a point in their insurance evolution, their insurance agency evolution. They get their agency up to, let's call it $10 million. And they go, well, what's the next natural step for me? And I think a lot of them naturally default to, well, I guess I should now start an aggregator.
Yeah.
Question mark, and the two different business models are so dramatically different that I think a lot of people try and go, oh, shoot, this is not the same thing. One time I made a list.
It's not just a big agency?
Yeah, right. One time I made a list of all of the things that an agency owner is responsible for doing day in and day out and the stuff that they have to do. It's an incredibly long list. I feel a lot of passion and respect for insurance agency owners. I work with them all day long, every day. I should. But they do so much. But once you go over and start making the list of everything that an aggregator has to do, first of all, the list is 100% different. And second of all, the list multiplies by like 400.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to me to see the guy who says, I've got a $10 million agency. The next natural thing is to make it myself an aggregator.
Yeah.
And then have them like maybe experience the, oh crap moment where they go, this is not the same list of responsibilities of what I used to be doing or trying to do. So,
yeah.
Sorry.
And even to go further there, when an agent, tries to do that, it's not the same deliverable. It's not the same experience.
Right.
It's the agent is not going to have the same tools and, the same, what am I trying to get at?
The same resources, the same network.
The chance of success is far greater when you have an aggregator that is equipped. Yeah. And that's their pure focus. Right. Versus just.
I'm also doing my agency on the side. I'm dealing with my own clients. Exactly. Yeah, I agree completely.
So, we went down this path with this gentleman, got all the way to where, we were going to start getting contracts, and we started to go over. He was going to track all the commissions. And he didn't have that figured out yet. He wanted to do it as we brought agents on and learn as we went, and we weren't comfortable with that.
I'd be like, what are you talking about,
That doesn't really align with our, it's either the best for the industry or not at all philosophy.
Right. Yeah. Or we'll deal with money later. I'd be like, time out.
Yeah. So we pulled the plug on it. We were super excited about bringing something, to the audience. Yeah. And so we said, all right, well, instead of trying to create the wheel, like, let's go find an organization that we can, be an addition to and add value to. And so we went on the search, and we spent the next 2.5 years meeting with 12 other organizations, and we'd fly out and meet with them or have, video calls and go into depth. And either they were missing a part that we were looking to bring to the whether it be training or they were only in 7 states. Yeah. There's something was always not the right fit. Yeah.
You were kissing a lot of frogs and not finding your magical prince.
Exactly. Yeah. So we actually got to the point where we were going to throw in the towel and say all right, enough is enough. And talked to Mike, and I was like, all right, the hell with it. I'm just going to post in Soup and ask who they would recommend, tell them what we're trying to achieve. Yeah. And we had Mark Wirtz. Yeah. Reached out, and he's like, dude, you got to talk to Rex Hickling at PGI. And we reached out to Rex, and within 45 minutes we were on a phone call. Spent an hour, and I think we got off and had flights scheduled for Colorado
the next week.
You can't talk to Rex for an hour and not feel the Rex Hickling magic, right? Yeah. I mean, he's a really great guy.
No, absolutely. So we came out, and it was 2018, and 3 years later, it's been amazing.
So 3 years later, you've created a brand called CIA, and CIA is powered by Premier Group Insurance, which you've decided after years of research is the right play for captive agents to go independent, or for somebody to start their own independent insurance agency to go this route.
Absolutely. Okay. After coming and meeting with y'all, the vision y'all had matched in line with what we wanted to achieve. With the training, the support, the carriers being across the entire country, everything just matched up. Y'all were where we wanted to be, but y'all were years ahead. And we knew we're not going to find a better organization that is agent focused instead of just trying to grow themselves.
Some of the conversations that we had with some of the other organizations that we were courting and interviewing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, when you're behind closed doors having a business conversation, things get a little bit more real than the public message.
Sure.
And we were told point blank by some of these organizations they are okay if the agents fail because the book will just get absorbed by another agent.
It's crazy.
Or we're not looking to invest in training because that is the agent's responsibility.
Or the carrier's responsibility.
Or the carrier's responsibility. Sure. And the stuff that we were being
told. And you're
going,
well, that's not good.
Well, it made us realize that while there are a lot of these organizations out there, there aren't a lot that are very agent focused. And I get that. I mean, none of us are out here trying to run a not-for-profit,
right?
But personally, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that you'd agree. We've always come from a place of the business will come as long as we're just providing value. So the idea of not providing that value as part of the business model, or kind of poo-pooing the idea of value, just didn't really sit well with us.
Yeah. What's interesting is so I was on the carrier side for a long time. I started as an independent agent in college, jumped to the carrier side for a long time, got into management, went down to Texas, didn't live far from you. Worked with a lot of aggregators in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Louisiana, and met some of the largest in the nation. Yeah. And my story's kind of like the same as yours, right? In a very, very different way. But I met tons of groups and tons of aggregators and tons of clusters throughout the course of my career on the carrier side. And it was so interesting. Same kind of story. When I finally met Premier while I was still on the carrier side, I was like, whoa. Now I am interacting with something that is different than anything I've seen in that would have been, 12 years into my career so far. Right. And I'm going, geez, Louise, this is a different aggregator. Right. So it's interesting that your story kind of aligns with my story, just from a completely different perspective. Yeah.
So it's been 3 years, just shy of 150 agents.
150 CIA agents that are empowered by Premier Group Insurance, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and that's what I think, the audience kind of views CIA as Mike and I and Paige and Amanda, as four people, and we just started this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And what they don't get to see, until the conversation develops, up until now, is the 50 employees here. The incredible training department, the licensing.
Sean and Michael Walker. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you just mentioned a few minutes ago about how we kissed a lot of toads and we hadn't found our prince, and I was just sitting here thinking to myself, I'm looking
Sean
across
Michael
the table
Walker is our prince.
I'm looking look at this beautiful man.
See, now I'll start blowing air kisses into the camera. So or maybe you were earlier in the podcast. Maybe you were blowing air kisses at me into the camera. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. So, it really was.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, Premier, 50 full-time employees, just got a new corporate headquarters, 30,000 square feet in Denver, Colorado.
Beautiful.
It's a good-looking thing. We were downtown Denver, but we moved out to the suburbs in Denver. So. And we love supporting the CIA agents. I mean, they are incredible agents. You guys do a great job.
No, we can see, we talked about this yesterday, because PGI is across the board and we're able to bring agents on from, just about every state, minus a few.
Yeah.
When a carrier makes a big decision like that, it's very evident quickly because of the amount of agents that inquire and, where they're coming from. Sure. So you can see on the carrier level, but then you can also see state by state. You know, if one takes a lot of rate, and we'll get interest from that certain carrier, you know, very quickly. So you're able to, you know, from a bird's eye view, see the changes going on without knowing the, you know, the details.
But what's interesting about it too is, you know, with the group being 40,000 members and being from, you know, every nook and cranny of the country, every carrier and whatever, literally the second, you know, any of these companies, you know, even look at their agents the wrong way, the agents are in soup talking about it.
Yeah,
so,
right.
you know, we're normally able to get out in front of whatever big announcements are coming out pretty quickly.
So what other, we can get back on the topic of CIA. We're not doing the podcast because of that and its relationship with Premier Group Insurance or anything like that. But what other interesting things happen in the soup environment? Like I got a client moving from Denver to Long Island who wants it. Or I love the soup environment because I personally love seeing an agent go, hey, I'm writing a habitational blah, blah, blah. How do I do this? And watch 15 agents who are like, I just wrote one yesterday with this carrier. This is who you should go with. They were great on it. And so what other amazing things exist in the environment where agents go, this is why I keep coming back here because of this?
Yeah. I mean, on that topic alone, there was I won't name the carrier. There was a captive carrier, very large captive carrier. We actually were very close with some of the execs.
Sure.
And they reached out and said that insurance soup as a whole helped reduce their agent call-ins with questions by almost 20%.
That's amazing.
Because they could go to soup and get that answer quicker.
Yeah.
And it took them to call in, wait, and then, you know, get back to it. So
that's amazing.
That alone, agents, you know, they can go in and ask a question about anything, and they're going to get an answer, and they're going to get, you know, different views on it.
Yeah.
To me, that's the power.
Yeah.
I mean, soup has proven to be powerful in many ways. But to see agents benefit every single day that helps progress their agency, I think that's the best.
And what I really think is what's really cool about the group on a individual agent basis is watching the ones that know how to navigate the environment the right way, use it to grow their business. So there are some agents that come into soup and their mentality is, what's in it for me? And you know, you know, and they'll join the group, and from the moment they join the group, you can tell that it's all about them, and it's just a matter of time before I'm hiring, or you know, whatever the case may be. But and those guys ultimately and gals ultimately get washed out.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is watching the agents that understand that if I provide value and can kind of exemplify that I'm someone that knows what he's talking about, and someone that's capable of helping a lot of people. You know, watching them take off as the referral source for a certain product or niche or whatever. You know, I mean, we've got a handful of people that, like, you know, anytime a particular topic gets brought up,
a veterinarian, everybody goes, that's the agent who's amazing at being a veterinarian insurer.
Yeah. We had a guy in our group that we, you know, unfortunately had to remove at one point, that literally would get probably 3 to 6 referrals a day.
Yeah.
Shot himself in the foot.
Shot
himself in the foot. We had to remove him from the group. And he still calls himself something.
I mean, same thing. We've had members that come in that are known on health insurance.
But you're saying like that person that you were talking about was getting a ton of leads from
folks
in the group.
Incredible
Yeah.
We've had health agents that, you know, have just grown to the point where they're opening large brick and mortars and bringing on massive teams
because of what soup was capable of helping them do.
That's amazing. Because they've given value for so long that, you know, they're the authority when it comes to that matter. It's neat to watch.
So we'll get back on the topic in just 2 seconds about CIA and Premier Group Insurance, and we'll probably wrap up with that last question. And so I'll ask it now so you can think about it, and then we'll go to a playful topic, and then we'll come back to it. But you know, you kissed 12 frogs before you found Premier Group Insurance. Think about what you saw that made Premier Group Insurance uniquely different, where you went, okay, now we found what we were looking for. So you guys knew what you were looking for. You knew where the 12 were missing. And then when you found Premier and said, we would like to have our CIA organization powered by Premier. We found it, whatever it was. Tell us what it was. But now let's jump to a fun topic for just a second. Who are some of the louder personalities in Soup? Like you got Ron, you got Uncle Ron. Who are some of the the quasi-famous people within the Soup environment where everybody in the environment knows who they are? I think I don't spend enough time there, so Ron's the only one I actually know.
Ron, Adonisio.
Because of his pizza stance.
Yeah, and very, very active.
Yeah.
Chuck McDade.
Yeah.
Chuck McDade.
Yeah, very
Charles.
very vocal. Charles. Puts out a lot of entertaining content.
Yeah. He cracks me up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't spend a lot of time there, but I'll see, like, I'll usually award like comment of the week, like as if anybody cares about my feelings about who wins comment of the week or funniest comment of the week. He'll frequently win from my perspective, where I'm like, that's officially the funniest thing I've seen.
I will work harder, my friends.
Now, Charles is a brilliant mind.
He's a funny guy.
I'm glad the group is getting to see.
He's down in Houston.
He's one of, and the industry's full of him. He's one of those minds that
everybody needs to get to know.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's full of content. He's full of let me help you with Zapier. He's killing it with Agency Elephant. I think is just. He's a smart guy that is fun to interact with, that can help you figure stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
Who else?
Of course, CJ, Brian, Matt.
Did we figure out how to pronounce CJ's last name or where it even comes from?
Rogers.
Hudson
Pillar.
Hudson Pillar.
Well, that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
German Austrian, I was right.
German Austrian. Okay.
It's Hudson Pella in its original form.
Hudson Pillar.
So Hudson Pillar was I guess the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. That was probably the Ellis Island changeover.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
There's a handful. I mean, if you go back, the ones that are active and known now, put in the work and have been adding value
for years.
Yeah.
It's hard to come into a group of 40, almost 40,000, and stand out and be known without being consistent and delivering.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see.
What do you think the right mix is between like the playful nature of Soup and the I'm coming here to get serious content from Soup? Do you guys ever talk about that behind the scenes and go, hey, we got to stop these? I mean, the memes are important and the memes are funny and people show up to see the funny meme. But at the same time, a lot of valuable content gets buried very quickly, and you're going, whoa, that should have never gotten buried that quickly. Yeah. That was really valuable. How do you guys approach that, if you do at all?
We used to actually remove a lot to keep it more insurance focused, but we want to provide that fun environment. And a lot of agents and their agency. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I'll call it. I'm honest. There's a lot of boring agencies out there. I mean, call it what they.
Are you saying there are boring people in the insurance industry?
I would not say that, but absolutely.
Boring alphas, no less. Like, how are you going to be alpha and so sleepy?
Yeah.
And Soup is kind of that getaway for them to go have fun. And kind of crack up, and I will never lose that.
Yeah.
Even if we tried, I don't think we could get away from it. But it's important. That's what has helped build the culture.
Yeah.
If
it was just about insurance, it'd just be like any other insurance group.
Yeah. And the humor is where I believe the majority of the relationship building actually takes place in the group.
Yeah.
Because you're finding other people that have a similar sense of humor to you.
Yeah.
You engage a few times, and now you're referring business to that person.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So
it's a really good point.
Yeah.
You're going, I got a friend here now. And I really like that person, and I'll start interacting with that person to the point where I'm actually feeding that person.
It's funny because you see so many different approaches with regards to the way things are done in Soup, because you got so many different people and personalities. And like one of the more common things that you see in there is someone will say, I need an agent in South Carolina for this risk.
Yeah, right.
And personally, whenever I see those types of posts, I mean, I don't do anything about it. I just bite the inside of my mouth and I say to myself, good luck, because, on a post like that, you're going to have 20, 25, 30 very thirsty agents that are raising their hands.
Yeah.
And if they're able to raise their hand that quick in the moment, it's because they're sitting on Facebook not selling anything.
Right.
So the agents that are that quickly available, to take that referral, in my opinion, from 50,000 feet may not be the best one.
Yeah.
But if you actually use the group appropriately and develop some relationships, you'd have someone that you could feel comfortable sending the opportunity to rather than just a crapshoot.
Yeah.
But, everyone does business the way they do business and how they see fit.
Yeah.
But.
So I asked you a question. Before I ask you that question one more time, what are some of the biggest problems that you are hearing about that the agents in Soup are going, guys, I need you to resolve this stuff. I need you to help us with this. What are the common daily struggles of an insurance agent from your perspective?
Well, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll ever be solved. Agencies will always struggle with lead gen and trying to keep their pipeline full.
Yeah.
That's been one of the biggest problems since the very beginning of Soup that we noticed, and that's why it's been kind of our number one focus with CAC, and I don't think that'll ever go away.
Yeah.
But to that point,
does that hold on? I'm sorry. Why is that the problem though? I made a video one time.
It's not the problem.
Well, so I made a video one time ago that said, look, if you're an independent insurance agency owner, you should already be good at lead generation. So let's not talk about lead generation, although we probably should, right? But you should already be great at that thing. You're in sales. You are in a job that is commission-based. You should be in love with the idea of doing lunches and golfing and meeting mortgage lenders and blah, 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 blah. So let's take that topic off the table. Let's now talk about lead determination versus lead generation. And I realize I should say, actually, we do need to talk about the thing we're ignoring. But in my mind, it's like, why do so many agents struggle with that thing? They're going into a commission-based job. They own and operate an insurance agency. They are a salesperson. They should be a salesperson through and through and through and through and through and through and through. And they should not be going into that scenario going, can somebody help me fill my pipeline and help me with sales? They should just be like, I eat people who struggle with that because I conquer all day long with that environment.
Well, so CAC originally started as a lead gen, mastermind and program, and we focused on lead gen. We focus on automation. We focus on referrals.
Yeah,
and we've been doing it now for the better part of a decade. I mean, at this point, this is our 7th year doing it.
Yeah,
and one thing that we've started to learn, working with so many agents and all that kind of stuff, is that generally speaking, lead gen is the problem they think they have.
Okay.
It's not their real problem.
Okay.
It's their systems and processes.
Okay.
And we were talking about this at dinner the other night. You've got 2 different types of problems within that world.
Okay.
You've got the agent that never even thinks to set up systems and processes and lets everyone in the agency do things their own way. And then you've got the agent that's got their own system and processes but doesn't teach it to their entire staff.
Yeah.
And they're phenomenal, but when it's time to scale and bring other people on,
absolutely,
they struggle.
It happens all the time.
So, one of the things that we've kind of identified over the last number of years is that that generally speaking, while obviously everyone needs to write more business and everyone wants to have more at-bats and everyone wants to have more opportunities, that the focus really needs to be on the systems, on the processes, on, managing your margins and understanding how the money actually works. And one of the things that we see, especially now, as we're significantly more entrenched with agents in their day to day, is are the actual disease. It's the actual disease as opposed to the symptoms. And the disease is the lack of systems, is the lack of processes, is the lack of uniformity, is the lack of having a vision of how to do things. If you went to McDonald's and every time you went to McDonald's you got a different hamburger because it was being cooked by someone different, or even the same person just in a different mood or with something else going on that day, McDonald's would never have taken off to become, the number one fast food chain in the world. And, it's easy to say and hard to do. When you tell agents, you need to have a uniform way of doing things and systematize everything, and there needs to be processes, and you need to be able to look at how things have been done 100 times in a row and make a little tweak, do it 100 times in a row again, and see which of the two is the better way of doing it, and you just don't see that a lot in agents and agencies, and I think it's because the industry at large is filling agency seats in two ways. The carrier, the captive carriers, in my opinion, generally speaking, are either bringing them up from their own agencies, or they are bringing them from outside the industry where they don't know any better and aren't going to bark at the contracts. Neither one of those are business owner.
Yeah.
You've got the employee who understands how to sell, that may have big dreams and big visions, and now they're off and running, and they have to figure out all the managerial stuff, all the business owner stuff. Yeah. Or you've got someone coming in from outside the industry that may know how to run a good business, may know how to manage things, but doesn't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to insurance. And it creates that conundrum where you've got someone that either doesn't know the industry side of things or the business side of things, and either one of those creates a major gap that requires some kind of mentoring. Yeah,
it's interesting because you see the when I said agents should already be great at sales, right? They should be amazing at that. That should be the thing that they eat for breakfast every single morning, and pipeline filling and generations and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of times that agent turns into a $2, $3, $4 million agency without slowing down to think about their process, or how am I going to scale once I can't do this anymore, right? And then suddenly they're going, the thing that got me here won't get me there, right? I forget what book that is. Maybe it's Good to Great, but the thing that got me this far isn't going to get me that far. So I think you're absolutely right. I think that's a common pain point in the industry of, so, maybe some agents are trying to say, how do I get started? How do I just get to the $2-3 million book of business level? And you might have to teach them the sales and the pipeline filling stuff, even though I would argue you should already be really great at that. Yeah. But then once we get you that far, the things we have to now teach you are different things, right? The things that we taught you that got you this far aren't going to be the things that are going to get you to the next chapter.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. All right, so let's circle all the way back around to that question that I asked 25 minutes ago or so that said, so you kissed 12 different princes or 12 different frogs that weren't princes. You found Premier. We talked about the pain points of things that you are seeing in the industry. What was it that you were trying to resolve? And you said, yeah, Premier will help us resolve this problem.
So we wanted to bring, an option that provided kind of that captive level training support that really, dove deep, but gave the agents the freedom of being an independent agent that didn't have corporate looking over them, didn't have compliance telling them you can't use that logo. Yeah. So when we met Premier, we met with y'all, having over 200 carriers, being across the country, having multiple contracts for an agent to choose from instead of just take it or leave it. That's all there is. Really giving the agents, an option that fits them best. Yeah. But the overall deliverable, being able to check off all those boxes with the training, the support, being like you just mentioned.
The level of agent focus here is...
It's easy for an agent to get, from, 0 to 1 million, 1 million to 2 million, when they go up, even to get to 5 million. But to go from 5 to 10 million, you've got to restructure. You've got to do things different.
Teach something different.
Exactly. Yeah. And to see, that there's systems here and there's resources and there's never just, figure it out, to help an agent get from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, truly caring about the agents.
It's not an organization that's simply giving access to markets and saying, good luck.
Yeah. Our job is done now.
Right. Exactly. But
that happens a lot in the industry.
But there's a big focus on how to retain the business. There's a big focus around how to increase your margins within the business.
Sure.
And that's something that, generally speaking, is, and this is a message that I think that we're going to begin to start to amplify to our audience, going forward. Everyone wants to talk about, how many policies, how much premium do you have in the books, what kind of commission rates are you going with, and
it's all relevant.
And the recruiting team and whatnot, when you're trying to, onboard agents, you always wind up getting into, the conversation of, well, this one's offering me X%, and that's 1% more than you, or 1% less. And, and you wind up getting into the weeds over such, minute details. And the reality is, when you've got an organization that is able to help you focus on your margins and your bottom line and all that kind of stuff, that will immediately and particularly over time become substantially more important, have a way bigger of an impact on your probability of succeeding in this industry than finding that extra percentage point, or that person that's going to let you out of a contract 6 months, 12 months earlier than the next guy.
Right. Yeah. Your profit margin is definitely a metric that is not talked about enough as people go through the courtship process.
Yep.
And then not only that, but the courtship process is a very important process to go through. I think it should be a very consultative process as opposed to a very salesy process. I mean, the agent's making a humongous decision to shift their lifestyle from something that they know it may be a little bit broken, but it's something that they know and they're comfortable with, into something where they're going, I hear this is really neat over here, but I want to make sure I do it right. It's a very big decision. It's a decision that should go nice and slow and be very consultative and be a process that respects the gravitas or the gravity of the decision that person's making, right? Because I mean, it comes down to, look, right now I can pay for my daughter's dance class, and next year if I go independent, if things don't go well, I might not be able to pay for my daughter's dance class. And so I need to make sure I'm making the right decision so that I can pay for my daughter's dance class. Exactly. And not only that, but her college when it comes time, and soccer season for the kid, and make sure my wife's happy next anniversary, not I'm leaving this captive environment and I need to know all hell's not going to break loose when I make this decision.
Well,
right?
Can I tell you one of the things that I am most proud of when I see it in soup?
Yeah.
One of the things that I personally get the most proud of and this is going to seem a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Is when
most things about you are a little bit weird. So
you know what? It works.
The first time I saw a picture of you without your shirt on in Facebook, I was like, that's a little bit weird.
But my favorite thing in soup is when I see an agent in the comments that are talking about one of our brands say, they told me not to sign up for this or not to join because it wasn't the right time or it wasn't the right fit.
Right.
Yeah. Or, whatever.
Right.
Because, and
it's evidence of consultation, right? Yeah. It's not evidence of sales.
Yeah.
How many agents have wanted to go CIA that at this point you guys have blatantly said, like,
you shouldn't do this.
Yeah. You're either not ready or, from the sounds of it, you'll never be ready.
Yeah. No, a lot. I mean, we don't accept a lot of agents because we're not in it just to get a contract. We're going to be here for their career. I want to be able to look them in the eyes, a year from now, 2 years from now, and know that it wasn't just a benefit to us, that it truly was to benefit them.
Right.
Yep. I think the ultimate goal is to make sure the agent is the winner every single time, right?
Well,
which is what your brand is, right? I mean, soup is everything focused on how does the agent win.
Well, we have another, gift and a curse with insurance soup.
Yeah.
Everything that we do is on stage.
Yeah.
So if we were out there not doing right by agents, if we were out there,
we can't hide.
Hide.
Yeah.
I can't hide anywhere. I'm 6'4", 300 pounds, but I can't even hide online.
It is weird going to. I remember one time I went to dinner with you guys a long time ago, and we were out to dinner or something, and somebody recognized you guys as being the soup guys, and they stopped the dinner in progress and, can I get a picture with you guys or whatever? And I was like, what the heck just happened here? How on earth did that happen? I'm sure you guys do, but it was so weird.
People think that the two of us actually really enjoy the light and the shine and all that kind of stuff. And we have both privately said to each other on a number of occasions, if we could do this without like all the attention,
absolutely,
like we would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, we absolutely love what we do.
Yeah.
Sure. All day.
Never has been our intention, or will never will be.
But it was never your intention to be you guys. It was your intention to be the agents.
Yeah.
People think that I'm a giant extrovert because of the way that I am online.
Yeah.
I'm generally more introverted unless like you're in my circle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, guys. We are wrapping up very, very quickly. Is there anything else you want the world to hear? Let's just pretend like all 38,000 soup agents have watched this video and this and listened to this podcast. As we wrap this thing up, what do you want them to hear?
It's a hard question.
Every single 38,000, they're gonna say, I don't know what I belong to. What is this soup thing? Who are these guys? What do you want them to hear?
All that aside, and we try and do this as frequently as possible. Mm-hmm. But the first thing that I'd want the audience to hear is a big giant thank you.
Yeah.
Because they have given us a career that I would not have been able to make up in my head.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
It is the coolest thing. We get to work with the coolest people.
Yeah.
We get to see people make great strides in their career, make great, progress in their lives. I've got an agent that I'm very close with that right now is on his very first vacation in 6 years down in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And he attributes being able, and he's coming home to a brand new house that he's moving into.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I met him a number of years ago, he didn't have a pot to piss in and was trying to figure out if he was going to stay in the industry or not.
Sure.
And he was actually one of the very first people that I said, you can't join CAC because I'm not going to be the guy to take your last dollar.
Yeah. I'm not going to, or the guy that you're going to blame, right?
Right.
Yeah. If I were to tell all 38,000, it's just, there's a ton of resources.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're staying in your shell, you're only going to grow the size of your shell.
Yeah.
To utilize every resource you possibly can. Whether it be soup, your podcast, there's a lot of knowledge out there.
Yeah. All right. We'll end with, I always end with this question. New agent starting in the insurance industry today. What does he need to know? What does she need to know?
It's not easy.
It is not easy. That's wise counsel.
Yeah, it's.
I think a lot of people think it is easy, and it's not easy.
No, it's every new agent we bring on, I tell them this is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done.
Yeah.
And if you don't give us 150%,
you're
not going to make it.
Yeah.
Learn from a younger, successful agent.
Okay.
The dinosaurs grew their agencies in a very different way.
That's good advice.
So you want to find a younger but very successful agent.
That's very good advice.
From.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I always talk about having a personal board of directors. Everybody should have a personal board of directors built around them. Corporations have boards of directors. Everybody should say you need to build a board of directors in your personal life, and in your professional life too. So I think that's really wise advice, Mike, to say one person that belongs on my board of directors is an incredibly young, incredibly successful independent insurance agent who can be on my board of directors to help me understand the paths that I might desire to take in the future.
Well, just as an example of that, and practicing, we don't even preach it, but practicing what you just preached.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them our board of directors, but right now, between the two of us, we're involved in 3 masterminds.
Yeah.
Where the people that are leading those masterminds are absolute guns as far as business counsel and life counsel and marketing counsel and all that kind of stuff. And
people that you rely on, people that you turn to and say, I need advice, and they give it.
But it's not cheap, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
It's like Mike always says, you want to be the dumbest one in the room.
Yeah.
If you're the smartest, you're in the wrong circle.
Yeah.
Don't take advice and follow an agent that hasn't achieved what you're trying to.
Yeah.
It's very easy to give advice, and people follow.
Yeah.
And the agent is, you're already out producing them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like one of the masterminds that we're in is $2,500 a month. One's $3,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we've told people this, and oh my god, like that.
Yeah.
And the one that I'm in right now, that's $3,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
brilliant point that I never even thought of when I was thinking about joining it. Guy that runs a gentleman by the name of Jeff Moore. He had mentioned to me that the $3,000 a month is going to help you avoid making mistakes in your business that are going to cost you $10,000, $15,000, $100,000 down the road.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it is putting you in a room with just shy of 100 other entrepreneurs that are all doing well north of $1 million in revenue.
Right.
And the price of admission to be in a network and an environment of that caliber of business owner and entrepreneur also you can't shake a stick at.
Yep.
So, and we preach to the agents all the time, invest in yourself, never stop learning, never stop learning. And I'm sure to whatever degree the audience probably looks and hears that and thinks that it's self-serving because we teach stuff.
Yeah. Right.
So don't stop learning, guys. And also we teach stuff. So But I mean, the reality is the two of us never stop learning, and we invested ourselves at a level that most probably wouldn't even be comfortable at.
Yeah.
So we try and practice what we preach, but to your point, as far as the board of directors is concerned, having those people in your circle that are further down the path than you and that can give you that advice, and
that's powerful.
Tremendous.
That's very powerful. That's all we got, people. We are done. This has been Insurance You Indemnify Me, and goodbye.
You make me want to be a better man.
You make me want to be a better man. So there you go.
I love you, my prince.
The lawyer told us we had to record this, so here we go. Premier Group Insurance is providing this podcast for informational use only. This podcast should not be relied on as legal or medical advice. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Premier Group Insurance. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Premier Group Insurance employees are those of the employees and do not necessarily reflect the view of Premier Group Insurance. Copyright 2021, Premier Group Insurance, Inc., all rights reserved. Peace.